Hello everyone and welcome to another video, and in this video we're going to be looking at more underrated artists. In the first video I covered Saxon and Hanoi Rocks. In this video we're going to cover 4 artists. So without further ado, first artist we're going to look at is probably one of my opinion, one of the greatest guitarists of all time, as I like to call him, the Welsh guitar wizard, Dave Edmunds. Good old Dave Edmunds. So yeah, Dave Edmunds from Cardiff, our capital, and he was originally in a band called Love Sculpture from the 1960s. Now, Love Sculpture are like this sort of psychedelic rock with hard rock linens. Very heavy, very heavy for the time, in my opinion. And I've got one single from Love Sculpture, Sabre Dance. Now, Sabre Dance is, of course, the classical piece, which was, I forget what cartoon it was used in, but I'm pretty sure it was used in Tom and Jerry, one of those cartoons anyway. So yeah, Sabre Dance. What can we say about this version of Sabre Dance apart from it is fucking fast and really heavy for its time. Absolutely heavy for its time. From 1968, and it sounds like something from 1988. It just does. It just sounds like something Megadeth would do. It's just so ridiculously fast. Unbelievable. Because Lemmy said in his autobiography, White Line Fever, he said about this particular version of Sabre Dance, he said it was one of the fastest things he's ever heard. And it is. It's just absolutely incredible. And the other particular song that Love Sculpture did was a version of Farandole. Now, Farandole is even faster than this. Just absolutely incredibly fast. You know, it's just ridiculous how fast it is. It's just absolutely incredible. You know, it needs to be heard. You need to listen to it. You know, you really do, because I couldn't believe when I read it that it was from 1968. I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. Just absolutely incredible. You know. Metallica, eat your heart out. Because bloody hell, it is fast. This is fast. Farandole, even faster. Just incredible guitar work on it. Just incredible. And I'm surprised that version hasn't been covered by metal artists, because it's just unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable it is. So yeah, Sabre Dance needs to be heard, and Farandole, bloody hell, fast as fuck. Really is. I might even put a link to it, because if it's on YouTube, I think it is on YouTube. I might put a link to it, because I just couldn't believe it from 1968. Just couldn't believe it. So yeah, I think Love Sculpture made 2 albums, a couple of singles, obviously this being their most well-known piece. So yeah, only together for like 2 years, and then of course you've all heard, well, I like to think you have heard, I Hear You Knocking, which is where Dave Edmunds went solo, and he got to number 1 in 1970, and it's a great track. I love it. Very just blues, very bluesy, and very almost raunchy in a way, and it is the perfect song to play when the gas man or the electric man comes round to read your meters. I've just come to read your meter. I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. Or a perfect song for Jehovah's Witnesses when they come round. Knock, knock, knock. Oh, would you like a watchtower? Fuck off, I'm a Satanist. So yeah, I Hear You Knocking, great track. And not only is Dave Edmunds, you know, a performer, also a producer as well. He was one of the first in producers at Rockfield Studios. Now, if you don't know what Rockfield Studios is, Rockfield Studios was well, it is still running. It's a recording studio just outside Monmouth in South Wales, and it has a very rich history. I would say its biggest fact is probably Queen recorded Bohemian Rhapsody there. Oh yes, and Adam and the Ants' Kings of Wild Frontier was recorded there. Just hundreds of albums were recorded there. And last year I got to see an exhibition of Rockfield Studios in the Nelson Museum in Monmouth, and it was just incredible. Just incredible. It even had like the little mixing desk. Incredible it was. It was really interesting. If you like your music, you would love it. You would have loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. And his greatest hits is just brilliant. It doesn't go too far. It only goes up to, I only think it goes up to 72. So it's a very early compilation, but it is a fantastic compilation, and it's absolutely mint in condition. Absolutely mint it is. Just incredible compilation. And of course, just great singles. You know, he produced such a great body of work, Dave Edmunds, you know. I mean, he does cover versions of other people's songs, but he does them incredibly well. Girls Talk, which is an Elvis Costello song, is just brilliant. It's just, you know, he makes the cover versions his own, you know, and I love his 1950s. He has that 1950s Eddie Cochran style, which I really like, you know, particularly on Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts sounds like a lost Eddie Cochran song. It's just absolutely fantastic. And of course, Dave Edmunds was in the rock and roll film Stardust, which is a sequel to That'll Be the Day with David Essex. I've seen That'll Be a Day, but I haven't seen Stardust, but I would like to see that. So yeah, and as we were talking about him doing productions, he produced Flaming Groovy's 1976 album Shake Some Action, which is, you know, just great band from San Francisco, big influence on punk and power pop. And also produced Arthur Brown's Kingdom Comes Journey album, which is just an incredible album. One of the first albums to use a drum machine. I think it was I think it was a Bentley Ace. I'm probably wrong, but it's the Bentley Ace drum machine. Really primitive if you listen to it now, but at the time it was like, wow, you know, and he pretty much predates all that 80s synth pop. It's just incredible album that is. If you haven't listened to that, get it. It's great. And of course, he produced this album here. Man, be good to yourself at least once a day. Now, Man are also Welsh, and if they were originally called the Bystanders from Merthyr Tydfil, they were sort of like 60s pop, and then they evolved into a psychedelic prog rock band, and this is I don't know if it's their best album, but it is a good album. It has that Doors heavy organ sound, which I like, and it's also got the most famous song on here, Bananas, which the lyrics to that, they're just genius. I like to eat bananas because they're good for my bones. I like marijuana because it gets me stoned. Just incredible. Well, because they got no bones. I like to eat bananas because I got no bones. I like marijuana because it gets me stoned. Get the lyrics right. You've heard it enough times. So yeah, this was recorded in Rockfield, and originally this part here was meant. It's supposed to have the map of Wales, but some fucker has ripped it out and no doubt put it on eBay. So I'm a bit gutted about that, but the album plays fantastically, so it could be worse, couldn't it? It could be worse. So yeah, Dave Edmunds, great guitarist, great producer, just key tracks for Dave Edmunds, probably definitely Sabre Dance Farandole for Love Sculpture. Solo, I Hear You Knocking, Born to Be With You, Queen of Hearts, Girls Talk, High School Nights, and probably Deborah. So yeah, Dave Edmunds, you know, I can't fault him. Underrated and he should be up there with the greatest guitarist of all time for sure. So yeah, that was Dave Edmunds. So yeah, next, well, the group we're going to look at now is from Yorkshire. Hey up, hey, Yorkshire again, lads, and it's Be Bop Deluxe, led by Bill Nelson. Now, Be Bop Deluxe are sort of a bridge between Roxy Music and XTC. They sort of have that. They have that art rock, sort of like an arty hard rock sound with a melodic pop sensibility. The guitars are his guitar work is very. It's very punchy, but it does maintain that sort of softness to it, if that makes sense. It's just his guitar work is incredible, and particularly on tracks like Sister Seagull and Axe Victim. Just incredible guitar work, and I can't understand why he's not up there with Clapton and Blackmore. Well, in my eyes he is, but you know, you see these greatest guitar, you know, lists in these classic rock magazines, and you think, you know, there's no Bill Nelson, there's no Dave Edmunds, it's Richie Blackmore, Eric Clapton, Blackmore, Captain Blackmore, blah 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 blah. You think it's just I don't know. It's just predictable and boring. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just regurgitating the same shit over and over again, and just gets boring after a while. So yeah, Be Bop Deluxe, just great band, just incredible band. You know, I can't understand why they didn't get the success that they deserved. It's just, I don't know. I mean, they were latecomers. They were sort of the early stuff's very glammy, and by 75, Axe Victim was released in 74. By 74, I mean, the Sparks broke through in 74. Bowie was sort of on his last glam fling. He was just, with Diamond Dogs, Rebel Rebel. He was on his way to doing Young Americans. Sweet were becoming more heavier, a lot more heavier. So they were sort of not creatine. The creatine fade away. They became more heavier. Because if you listen to Sweet Fanny Adams, it's just so heavy for the time. It's just so heavy. So they were, they were getting heavier and less poppy. So yeah, Be Bop Deluxe was sort of like, latecomers to the glam scene. Pretty late, but Axe Victim, some great stuff on Axe Victim. Of course, Axe Victim, the title track, Adventures in a Yorkshire Landscape, just incredible guitar work on it. And this album, Modern Music, is just brilliant. It's just some of the some of the songs on here are fantastic, really are. Like, if I had a radio station, I would play this entire album, because it's the perfect pop album to play. Favourite tracks, Forbidden Lovers and Down on Terminal Street. It's just incredibly beautiful. Bill Nelson and beautiful guitar arrangements. Just absolutely stunning they are. The songs like Forbidden Lovers and Down on Terminal Street, they're made for the radio. They just are. And like I said, I would play them if I had a radio station, for sure. Just incredible. And they had loads of Be Bop Deluxe albums on the stores in Newport Market, Troutmark, and for some reason I was hesitant to get them, because they had obviously they had this one, and I think they had Drastic Plastic, and I think it was a live album from 77, 78, and I was reluctant to get them, and I wish to God I'd gone, because these guys are not easy to get hold of on vinyl. I mean, I only paid $1.95 for it. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, I imagine it's probably more on eBay and Amazon. So yeah, this is a great album. Bill Nelson, just great singer and fantastic guitarist, and most of their albums are on Spotify. Axe Victim's on there, Futurama, the follower, which was also recorded in Rockfield. Sunburst Finish is not on there. That's not on there, but Drastic Plastic is on there. And I've also got from Sunburst Finish, Ships in the Night, which is probably the most well-known track, and Bill Nelson is not a big fan of this song, but it is a great song. But with some artists, one particular song pretty much sort of like overshadows the rest of their careers. Like with Guy Newman, he's done some incredible work over the years, but it's like, oh, Guy Newman, Cars, You know, people don't think of I die, you die, we are glass down in the park. Oh no, cars. You know. So yeah, and so Bill Nelson was like, he saw there's a noose around his neck, because I think he got to the top 20 or the top 30 at least, and I think did they appear on Top of the Pops for this? The Ships in the Night? I'm not sure if they did, but so yeah, Ships in the Night, great track, and I've listened to Drastic Plastic. It's probably my favourite album of theirs I've listened to so far. It was recorded in '78, but it feels like, stylistically, it feels like an '80s new wave, '80s synth pop album. Sort of like something a Flock of Seagulls would do, or Tears for Fears. It has that feel. It's like Electrical Language, my favourite song on there. It's just brilliant, and it could almost be about online dating. You know, I don't know. It could be. I don't know. Maybe. It sounds like to me. It sounds like a precursor to Kraftwerk's Computer Love. I speak to you from Electrical Language. You know, obviously internet. You know, our own language. You know, and yeah, it's a very interesting album. Obviously, it's, you know, if you're not big on synthesizers, it wouldn't be. It was a complete radical change for them, because they were more guitar based. But it's my favourite album of theirs, and I wish to God I got it on vinyl. I wish to God I got it. You know, and of course, Bill Nelson went solo, and I've got some of his sort of solo, Bill Nelson's Red Noise, which is, I've heard stuff from that, and it's sort of pseudo electro punk sort of style. It's sort of like if the Sex Pistols had switched to synthesizers, it would sound like Bill Nelson's Red Noise. His vocals are very, 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 very punkified. I know that's not a word, but fuck it. Punkified, very punchy. And I got the both singles that he released from that album. The first one, Furniture Music, which is sort of it's a bit of an erotic, almost maybe obsessive compulsive, changing his room around, you know, changing his house around. And I'm convinced that this song was made for my friend, I tell you. Because every time I go down there, he changes the room around. And I'm like, you've changed the room again, haven't you? No, I haven't. Oh, so basically you've got pothead pixies in you, changing your room around without you noticing, is that right? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Whatever. So yeah, this is a great track. It's great. This is a great track. And yeah, and Revolt into Style, which is another great track. And the album's on Spotify as well. I've heard some of the stuff from it. It's just you could easily put a lot of those tracks on the Red Noise album in a cyberpunk film. Easily. Who knows? They might have. In one, I don't know. Who knows? There may be a film out there that's put the music in there. Who knows? I would. I mean, if I made a cyberpunk film, I'd put the entire album in it. Just incredible. And I've seen Bill Nelson's interview with Cherry Red, and he said the record company didn't like the album at all, but that's maybe it. is sort of out of step. It's sort of out of time, to be honest. Like with Drastic Plastic, Bill Nelson's Red Noise album is sort of, it would be, if it had been released in 1980, 81, the album might have got to top 10. Just weird. It's just, you know, it's like with a lot of music, it's just ahead of its time, isn't it? And it doesn't get understood. You know, it doesn't get understood, but then over the years, gradually, it's sort of like, oh, you know. So yeah, Bill Nelson, great guitarist, just incredible, and he deserves more respect. So yeah, Bill Nelson. Oh god, right, yeah. Next band we're going to look at is also from Wales. Oh yes, the first Welsh metal band, as far as I know. Oh god. And they are called, does anyone know the name of them? No? Okie dokie. Budgie. Oh yes, Budgie. Budgie formed in the late 60s, so around the same time as Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, and of course Deep Purple. You know, and nobody mentions them. You know, you get the big three. You get Led Zeppelin, Purple, and Sabbath, but no Budgie. And Budgie, the first time I heard Budgie was Bread Fan, and I was like, fucking hell. I was headbanging. I was like this. I was like, I thought, this is incredible. And when I found out the year he was released, 1973, I went, gotta be kidding, 1973? It sounds like a early 80s new wave of British heavy metal track. Absolutely incredible. And when I learned it from Wales, I thought, bloody hell. Incredible. So yeah, Budgie from Cardiff, and a big, massive, huge, humongous influence on heavy metal. Just incredibly, and a lot heavier than Led Zeppelin. I mean, Led Zeppelin, are they metal really? They're not strictly metal, really, are they? I mean, you listen to Led Zeppelin 3. It's mainly acoustic, isn't it? You know, I mean, for me, the heaviest song for Zeppelin was probably Out on the Tiles or Communication Breakdown. You know, and I think Budgie are much better than Led Zeppelin. And just as heavy as Sabbath. I mean, some of the guitar riffs from Budgie are just absolutely. They sound really, to me, really raunchy, like Crash Course in Brain Surgery. Oh, just the riff on that, just incredible. And it's from this album, In for the Kill. So that great artwork here, and there's the band. Here's the singer. He looks like a cross between Buddy Holly and Geddy Lee from Rush. And they often got compared to Rush. They often did, and they do. Because Rush, there's 3 of them, isn't there? And they look similar, but Budgie are far better than Rush. You know, Rush to me, are they metal? Because I see them as like really proggy to me. But Budgie are much better. And this album is probably I think it is my favourite album of Budgie, because it's got In for the Kill. In for the Kill is just brilliant. Crash Course in Brain Surgery has been covered by Metallica. And of course Bread Fan was covered by Metallica as well. So just Budgie ahead of the time they are. And also got Bandolier, which is the follow-up to In for the Kill. Great artwork again. Great pictures of the band. Great guitarist. Absolutely incredible. Just as good as Tony Iommi from Sabbath for sure. And funny enough, his name is Tony as well. Yeah. Great stuff on you. Great stuff on you. Breaking all the house rules. Just brilliant stuff. Just brilliant. Yes, impeccable. Which is, it's not as good as the other 2, but it's pretty good. Melt the Ice Away has been covered by Megadeth. So yeah, you can see. So you got all these. You know, you got all these speed metal bands and thrash metal bands covering their stuff. You really have. And then of course, one of their latter albums, Deliver Us From Evil, which is, it's more heavy on the synthesizers, which of course in the the 80s, but it's got my favourite Budgie track on here, Bored with Russia. Fucking hell. Just incredible energetic song that is. And it's probably got the best chorus of any Budgie song. Just incredible. And it also sort of sounds like a response to a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal at the time, because by the early 80s we had Saxon, Diamond Head, Savage, Tank, Girl School, Motorhead, all these great bands, and it's just just great stuff. And Burke Shelley's vocal style is very he's got a really high voice register, but it sounds more like a more raunchy, hoarse, husky version of Robert Plant. I think his voice is just as seductive as Robert Plant's, for sure. Just you listen to Bread Fan. He's just belting it out. He's just proper belting it out. Just incredible. And some of the albums are on Spotify, not all of them. Budgie, the first album, Budgie's on there. Squawk, the second album's on there. Never Turn Your Back on a Friend's on there. This album and Bandolier's on there. He hasn't got all their albums on there, but I recommend you listening to them, because just blow your mind. It just blew my mind how heavy they are for the time. And I mean, And they're pretty versatile as well, because they do a lot of ballads as well. They do a lot of really nice ballads, like oh, I forget the name of it now. Wondering What Everyone Knows, just a beautiful ballad it is. Just really, really, really beautiful and delicate. And that's what I like about 70s metal. It's not pigeonholed or there's no rules. Like with a lot of genres that started, there's no regimental rules, you know. There's no like a straight jacket, you know, like all these rules. Oh, you gotta have this and that, you know. Judas Priest, they were doing nice ballads, and you know, it's like we Bread Fan. It starts like, and then midway it just simmers down, and it's like this beautiful acoustic part. You know, like it's like a lot of Sabbath. You know, a lot of the Sabbath albums, they would be like a instrumental on there. Just, you know, it's just, you know, and then you got a lot of the late 80s stuff. It's just on one level. You know, there's no ups and downs. It's just on one level. You know, it's like a lot of the death metal and thrash metal. It's just like, basically, it's like, and then you got a fucking Tasmanian devil on vocals going. You think, fucking hell, I can't. What the fuck is this shit? It's like, you know, call me daft. I like lyrics that I can understand in my metal songs. You know, the wizard's on his horse with his staff, shoving it up the witch's ass. You know, shit like that, but not that. It's like, nah, doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to me at all. So yeah, Budgie, you know, a forgotten pioneers of metal. I just can't understand how they didn't get the success that they did. But then again, their influence is there. You know, their influence is there, and you know, great band. Let's check them out. You won't check them out if you love metal. I can't see why you won't love them. So yeah, Budgie, great band. And the last artist we're going to look at, fucking hell, 38 minutes. Fucking hell. Try and keep this short then. Right. Next artist we're going to look at is a forgotten new wave synth pioneer, John Foxx. Now, John Foxx was the original singer of Ultravox, yes. Before shut up your face. Before him, John Foxx, and before they were Ultravox, they were like a glam band called Tiger Lily, and then he switched. I think they were Tiger Lily from 74 to 76, and then he became Ultravox with exclamation mark as a tribute to or reference to the band Noi, who used exclamation mark as well. So yeah, Ultravox, they were sort of like their first two albums, very glammy punky sort of style, very like a cross between Roxy music and maybe a cross between Roxy Music and television. That might be a bad comparison. That might be a little bit off, but sort of that style. It's like you listen to stuff like Young Savage, just completely full on punk, and then we get to the third album and they morph into this sort of like early sort of synth pop band. You know, you listen to stuff like Slow Motion, fantastic song, should have been a hit. You know, it's like I said before, you know, when new things come together, new music styles come together, it doesn't always get the audience. It doesn't always, you know, you get some genre straight away, boom, you know, like 50s rock and roll, bang, you know, everyone got that. But like with the Systems of Romance album, it's just a couple of years ahead of its time, you know. And Systems of Romance was a big influence on Gary Newman. He's often said when he was making replicas, the benchmark for him was Systems of Romance. Just you know, and it's a brilliant album. Brilliant. Favourite song, Slow Motion, Dislocation, just great stuff. And then they didn't get the success at the time because, you know, didn't get just. And John Foxx left in '79, and then Midge replaced him a couple of months later. And then, of course, they became massive because the early '80s was synthesizers everywhere, wasn't there? You know, but they didn't get to #1, did they? What's the matter here? Hey, shut up your face! Got beat by that. Unbelievable. I mean, the '80s is good, but fucking shit like that. Shut up your face, got the #1. What is the matter with you crazy people? Fuck, you know. You know, that's the biggest claim to fame for Ultra Rocks for me, is they couldn't get to #1 due to Joe Dolce. But, you know, and I'm not a big fan of Midge Ultra Rocks, to be honest. It's just I don't know, just not a big fan of Midge at all. So yeah, John Foxx went solo, and of course Metamantic is just incredible album. You know, is it dated? It might be. It might be. It might not be. Depends who you ask. But you know, it's got some great stuff on there, and of course I got No One Driving, which is a great track. Bloody great track that is. And of course, the follow-up album, The Garden, is brilliant as well. You know, just great stuff. And then of course, from '83, Your Dress, just, you know, it's just, even though the style of the synthesizer can come across as a bit icy and maybe cold, his singing voice is it's more it's a lot more delicate than, say, Newman, because I mean Newman's early stuff is saying a lot of it sounds maybe robotic, maybe, well, but his voice over years has got a lot better, you know. But yeah, John Foxx, you know, you don't see many of his tracks on these electronic '80s compilations, apart from Underpass or Underpants. You know, as they used to say back in the day, underpants. So yeah, you don't see many of his songs on 80s compilations, and these electronic 80s compilations, they're just so, it's just the same shit over and over and over again. It's just I don't know why they bother. It's the same stuff over and over again. I've heard it 1,000 times. Just, oh. So yeah, I think I've, bloody hell, this is a long bloody video, isn't it? Bloody hell. So yeah, John Foxx, underrated new wave pioneer, still going today, still going strong, you know, and he still makes great music. So yeah, we've looked at Dave Edmunds, Be Bop Deluxe, Budgie and John Foxx. So yeah, well done me. And everything's dropping out everywhere. Oh God. Bloody hell. So yeah, oh God. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.